So with that, I'm going to introduce David Clayton. David Clayton is the Executive Director of Greenville Technical College's Center for Manufacturing Innovation. David has a really long and successful career, former engineer, worked for the Department of Commerce, understands both technology and workforce development. He's going to go through a presentation around the Center for Manufacturing Innovation, which is what he's leading here in Greenville, South Carolina, and how he is changing the way that the workforce is being developed today and being prepared for the next generation of manufacturing. So with that, I'm going to hand the presentation off to David, and we hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later on in the day. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Do I look good here? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see so many beautiful, smiling faces out there in the crowd. I can't really see you. So I'm David Clayton. I'm the Executive Director of CMI, as Chris said, and thank you for having us here today. It's a pleasure to share our story. I'll probably spend about, I think, 30 minutes or so talking about CMI, what our mission is, our vision, and then try to talk about how you can engage with us as industry. I imagine we have many engineers and product developers on the line here today. So I think it'd be useful to talk about how you can work with us from many different perspectives. So as Chris said, I'm David. I'm a former research director at the Department of Commerce. I've seen the economic development side, recruiting new businesses to the state, developing entrepreneurial strategies for the state of South Carolina, and also on the workforce development front. So how do we train the workforce of tomorrow to bring talent up to the level that manufacturers need so we can continue to grow industry? And so that's what we're all about at CMI. So we started, let me see here, trying to advance it. I think my presentation is huge. It's like 50 megabytes, so that might be part of it. Okay, maybe back, is there one more that I, oh, okay, that's the first one. Okay, Greenville Tech. I'm sure some of you on the line are from Greenville, so you know us well, but for those of you that don't, we're one of 16 technical colleges in South Carolina. We serve the largest portion of the higher education community in the state. At Greenville Tech, we have about 13,000 students in our full-time degree-seeking programs and another 17,000 in certificates and non-credit programs. So we are one of the largest higher education institutes in South Carolina. We have many different programs, from veterinary medicine all the way to nursing, to the bachelor's transfer tracks, where you do your first year or two at Greenville Tech and then move on to a school like Clemson, and then, of course, the diploma programs. And so at CMI, I'll talk about in a little bit what those specific programs are. But I want to make the point that CMI is one of the first, is actually the only and the first sort of industry-specific campus that we have. We are 100% devoted to manufacturing and engineering and product development. So all these other campuses, the Barton, Northwest, Benson, and Brazier, are more strategically located around the county to serve our population. CMI, we're dead center in the middle of Greenville, and we serve only the manufacturing community. So it's very different in that way. We opened just this year in August, so we're still getting sort of up to speed on where we need to be and how we're going to grow the future of manufacturing. And also, another important point is that we have manufacturing at two of our other campuses. At the Barton campus, which is our main campus, and Brazier, which is in Simpsonville. We have machine tool technology and welding and mechatronics, and many of the programs that I'll talk about at CMI are actually there as well. So the point is we have grown our capacity. We are training about 500 to 600 students in manufacturing, and with CMI opening, we have room for 500 more. So we're really growing the capacity to meet the needs of the workforce. We're locally governed, so all the technical colleges each have their own president, their own area commission, and then there's a state board of the technical colleges that kind of oversee and coordinate between the various technical colleges. And then we have our Greenville Tech Foundation, which is, of course, there to raise money and help support our students through scholarships and other programs. So now on to the good stuff. CMI. So we opened in this August. However, the story stretches back much further than that. We broke ground January 2015, so it's been about 18 months building this beautiful facility. But 2-3 years before that, the vision was really planted with the leadership in Greenville County. So Dr. Miller, our president, worked with the area manufacturers to really, talk about the need for CMI, talk about why we need this great facility to grow manufacturing, to grow the workforce. So many of the industry partners, from Bosch, Rexroth to Michelin and GE Power in the Greenville community, had a hand in bringing this to life. The building was funded, so it's a $25 million facility, and it was funded through county bonds. So if you live in Greenville County, I appreciate your support. Part of that property tax bill in your home has helped fund this facility. We're 100,000 square feet, so it's about 500 feet from end to end, quite a large facility. We have $7 million in equipment, and that's actually the portion that was funded by the state of South Carolina. So we have county money, state money,
I'll just hang the phone.
and then in addition to that, we have money that is donated by our local employers, by partners, and by charitable foundations. So we have another $4 or $5 million in that. So a lot of high-tech stuff. And the point is that this is a modern manufacturing environment. As you can see from the building, we have invested in the infrastructure to showcase what a beautiful new manufacturing facility can look like to attract people to these careers. And we're unique in a couple ways. We're unique in that we have new educational models. I'm going to talk about that in a bit, and the technology that we're deploying here. And I think that'll be interesting to all the engineers and developers on the line. And then in the partnerships that we're developing with local industry, with our vendors of machinery and equipment, and with our higher education and K through 12 partners. So it really is a unique higher education vision that is going to serve the upstate for many years to come. So this is where we sit. If you're familiar with Greenville, you'll know this intersection well. This is where Lawrence Road and I-85 intersect there at exit 48. And this is really the middle from Atlanta to Charlotte of the manufacturing economy of the South. You can just go down the road on 385 South and hit Bosch Rexroth and many BMW suppliers. 85 in the other direction south, you can get to Michelin. Michelin has 7 plants in South Carolina and employ thousands and thousands of people. 85 north to the Michelin North American headquarters in BMW. And of course, downtown Greenville is just up Lawrence Road. So the point is that we're the middle of the manufacturing economy. This is certainly not the cheapest land in Greenville County. That's a prime spot of real estate right there on I-85. But we really want to showcase, manufacturing in the career, so we want that visible location where everybody can come and see us. Another important point is that just outside the circle, where that circle cuts through, I can't point and where you can see it, but to the left on your screen of where CMI is CU ICAR, which is the Clemson University International Center for Automotive Research. And so this is a 250-acre research campus devoted to automotive engineering, education, economic development, and research. So what you see there is Technology Neighborhood 1. They have room for 4 more technology neighborhoods in this kind of forest to the south of there. So really this is a research triangle park kind of development that we're a big part of. I'm going to talk more about that partnership in just a moment. So we're really at the epicenter between manufacturing companies and the higher education community, and of course K-12. So right across the street, we have Penny Fisher Middle School, which is a STEM middle school. We have J.L. Mann High School, which is a STEM high school, and STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we're really kind of make that continuum between middle to higher education at Greenville Tech and Clemson, then on to industry, right here within a couple hundred yards. So it's a really special place to be. So the main thrusts for CMI, first and foremost, we're a training facility. So we're going to educate and train the workforce of the future. I'll talk about what that means with a few slides. And addressing the nationwide skills gap, and really that's to drive economic development. I stole Chris's 3 E's, actually. It was inspirational to me. So exposing, engaging, I think he used the word excite, and educate about the opportunities in advanced manufacturing, and then collaborating with industries. And so I think for the folks on the call, you'll find some interesting things here about how we can work with industry to bring new products to life, look at manufacturing processes in new ways, and develop those here working with our students and our faculty and some of our technology. So that's a new model for Greenville Tech, and hopefully you'll be able to connect with me later on, and we'll find a way to work together. So in terms of the need for CMI, I talked about working with local industry, but many people in Greenville don't realize that we are really the tip of the spear for bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. And so in terms of attracting foreign direct investment, the United States, despite the success that China's had and India's had lately, we're still the #1 location in the world for bringing new investment in manufacturing from foreign firms into the United States. South Carolina is the #1 state on a per capita basis, bringing companies into the state. Obviously, we can't compare ourselves to Texas or California just because of the scale of that, but per capita, we're the #1 in bringing new jobs to a state from foreign manufacturing firms. And then Greenville County is the #1 county in South Carolina for that. So, we're the top of the top of the top for bringing new jobs, new manufacturing jobs, and these are modern, advanced manufacturing companies, in the aerospace industries and automotive, medical device. So really that's the motivation. If we want to continue to attract new firms and help the firms here grow, we have to train more people. That is the shortage. It's not the supply chain so much. It's not our transportation logistics system. We have a great port and roads. It's really the workforce that we need to address, and that's why we've made this investment in CMI. And manufacturing is an important part of our economy. It always has been, from the textile industry going forward. If I think about multipliers, so from an economic development perspective, we like to talk about if you recruit one job, how many jobs for teachers or the supply chain or restaurant workers are created because of that one new job. So if we bring a job in, say the banking sector, that might create 1 or 1.5 additional new jobs. That's the impact on the economy. In the automotive manufacturing, it's 4 to 5 because of the supply chain and the complexity of what it takes to produce an automobile. Aerospace is the same. It's around 3.5 right now. As we grow more suppliers, that's going to grow. So we talk about bringing manufacturing back. The impact is just enormous in terms of new jobs and wealth for the community. So here are some of the partners that we've worked with at CMI, and these are all firms that have been in Greenville for quite a while. And I'll make the point that a lot of these plants, aside from BMW, and I've been here since the 70s and 80s. So we've got some problems with the aging workforce and how to, especially in the manufacturing economy, how do we replace those workers that are now retiring or maybe just reducing their hours and training those people to replace those new jobs. So something like half of the manufacturing workforce over the next 10 years is predicted to retire. So we need to train those people. And then with this new manufacturing that's coming in and the modernizing of plants like Michelin and Bosch Rexroth, how do we train people to work in this modern manufacturing environment with Industry 4.0 or digital factories, additive manufacturing, advanced metrology, precision measurement? So those are some of the things we're addressing at CMI. We want to keep the innovation, in the Center for Manufacturing Innovation. And so we're changing some of the technology and the way we teach to address those needs. So our core programs, very quickly, this is the student body as it is now, kind of above the line there. We have 250 students. We're one of the largest trainers of machine tool technology, CNC machining in the state. Probably anywhere in the country, and then in the mechatronics side, and so that's a bit of a made-up term, but mechatronics is really mechanical and electronics, mechatronics, and these people work on robotics, industrial automation, industrial maintenance. So these are the people that like to take stuff apart, put things back together, and really keep the industrial plants running that we have here in the upstate. So from automating to improving processes to just general industrial maintenance. It's a very high demand field. And a big point that we like to make with students that are pursuing these careers is both machine tool technology, CNC, and mechatronics. The average salary can be in the $50,000 to $55,000 range, just 1 or 2 years out of school. I've had stories of literally students sending photos of their paychecks just a few years out to our teachers, saying, thank you, I just made $90,000 this year. So with a 2-year degree, it's really hard to find better money than that. So those jobs are in high demand. People can make really good money. And then, for the folks on the call, I'm not supposed to sell to you today, but I will a little bit, our quality and operations management training. So we offer customized and sort of normal classroom training in hundreds of different disciplines to many, many different corporate clients. And so I'm talking about environmental health and safety, OSHA, Six Sigma, project management, leadership. The list goes on and on. So, visit our site, just Google Greenville Tech or cmigreenville.com, and you'll find links to all of the different training classes that we offer at CMI. So all those courses for training corporate clients in the manufacturing discipline are now at our new facility at CMI. So below that line on your slide, we have a lot of new programs that we're offering in new ways at CMI. The first one is modular courses. So what we've done is basically chopped up our longer degree-seeking program into these 1 credit hour courses. Put some of the content online, some of it's in the lab, and students can basically move through these at their own pace, hopefully at an accelerated pace, and finish their degree faster. So it allows students to flex a little more, to work at their own pace and their own schedule. So if they're working a night shift or a swing shift schedule, they can come in and do these modular classes in a new way. The Manufacturing Honors College, I'll go into that a little more in depth, but this is the first in the country, first in the United States honors college specifically suited for manufacturing students. So our students in machine tool technology, and mechanical engineering technology, and mechatronics, those that have done the best in class, clearly they're an honors student, will work with industry and work with students from Clemson on these capstone projects. And then the new programs. So this is all about digital manufacturing today. And we're developing programs first starting at the certificate level, so sort of continuing ed and corporate training clients, and then we'll move those into the normal associate's degree curriculum in advanced metrology. So this is precision measurement, coordinate measuring machines, things like that. Additive manufacturing, so 3D printing, but also additive manufacturing in metal for real production parts. And then the industrial internet, Industry 4.0. So there the question is, how do we take our mechatronics program and prepare those students for this world of interconnected devices where the data is basically in the cloud and you have some basically a cyber or digital ghost product moving through the supply chain along with the physical product when it's being manufactured. So how does the technician work with that data? How does the mechatronics professional implement those kinds of systems? That's something that we need to teach our students to be successful in the future of manufacturing. So we're developing those programs, again, starting with the sort of continuing ed and corporate training and then moving them down to the curriculum. And another big thing, listening to the voice of our customer, which is industry, the world has changed a bit in higher education, and this extends from the 2-year degree all the way up to universities. We've heard the same thing. So this is some of my learnings at the Department of Commerce, and that a degree is simply not enough. Employers want these 3 different elements, basically, as part of their educational package that they hope students will come out of. So we're talking about experiential learning on the lower left, internships, co-ops. Nobody wants to hire a manufacturing associate that hasn't spent some time in the plant. They're worried about people getting run over by forklift trucks, proper safety, work ethic, all of that. You learn that on the job. And so we're rolling out more internships, more apprenticeship programs. South Carolina is a leader in technology apprenticeship programs. Manufacturing boot camps. So we're taking fresh engineers basically and pulling them into a manufacturing environment, teaching them the basics of manufacturing technology, trying to add something to that 4-year engineering degree. On the other side of that pyramid, interdisciplinary learning. So this is really where we get into Industry 4.0, when systems are more important than each individual product. So if you think about a CNC operator, we're not going to be able to train setup and button pushers much in the future. Those jobs will be replaced by robotics, collaborative robotics, and other technologies. So how do we train a CNC operator to become a CNC programmer and then work in that system so that the CNC operator is now looking at everything from quality, operating, say, a Renishaw equator gauging system or some other technology, maybe a laser scanner, to measure the part, program the CNC machine, and then also how does that data connect into the supply chain and down the line to different operations. So our associates have to understand where they fit into the overall manufacturing process, and that requires them a more systems thinking, cross-functional education. And of course, we hear a lot about the soft skills, so call that, job-ready skills, the basics like showing up on time, being engaged. So how do we teach that in a manufacturing environment? And so we're unveiling some new programs to do that, basically simulating a real manufacturing environment as we go through the training programs. Then at the very top of the pyramid, and some of you may have, if you're in the education market, have read up on this, but it's not enough just to have a degree. People want the skills, and they want a credential that shows that you know each individual skill. So we're looking at industry credentials like the National Institute of Metalworking Standards, the NIMS credential, maybe a Siemens PLC programming credential, and how to roll that in smaller certificate programs that neatly stack into a degree. So that's a real need from industry, and that's what we're working towards. So I think this is some news that you can use there in the crowd, and that how to work with us at CMI. We are an enterprise campus. And that's special enabling legislation that allows us to work with industry in new and innovative ways. It touches everything from the way we can partner on procurement to how we can use some of our assets for commercial use. And so a few ways that we've done that. The first one, innovative curriculum and training partnerships. For instance, we are a preferred training location for Renishaw. So Renishaw makes machine tool probings, heads on coordinate measuring machines, the additive manufacturing process. They're in that market as well. And so within a 400-mile radius, we are the preferred location for Renishaw training. So that means we partner with them on delivering some of that training. And so if you go to their website, you'll see some classes at CMI. And that also allows us to have some technology on consignment and other ways. So that's one example of an innovative partnership. We can allow industry. So if your company maybe doesn't have a 5-axis CNC machining center or a coordinate measuring machine, state-of-the-art, new with laser scanning, and I'll go into that technology, or a 3D printing lab. We have a rapid prototyping lab and additive manufacturing. So we can allow industry to use those assets. Of course, there would be a fee for it, but it's really for small production runs or prototyping to basically launch a new product. We have an incubator space. So this is for startup companies. Usually that's what incubators are for. We're also landing parties. So if a company, say from France or China or Eastern Europe, it doesn't matter, wants to develop a presence here in the United States, we can offer them a cubicle or an office at CMI where they can kind of get their feet under them. So here we're leasing space by the cubicle. So $400 a month, say, for a cube in our incubator. And then that puts you right in the action with all of our great equipment, our faculty, and our students, giving you access to all of that. So it's a really kind of a unique incubator business accelerator model. And then we have strategic partnerships. I think I mentioned this, but in terms of equipment procurement or consignment or showrooming, product development on new technologies. So we're a Haas center, Haas CNC machines. So they've put some machines in on consignment. We've purchased some. We have applications engineers from Haas. So we're really a CNC machining center of excellence at CMI. We're looking at the same for robotics with a few other companies and metrology. So really, how can we partner with these machine tool vendors to showcase their technology, continue to develop new products, and bring their customers in? So that partnership extends all the way to training and through product development. And then collaborative projects, and I'll get into this in a bit, but with Clemson and Greenville Tech. So we have a strategic partnership with Greenville Tech, with Clemson University. Of course, we're right next to ICAR, and those faculty and those students will spend some time here at CMI and work with us on projects. So I think I've pretty well covered this in the last slide, but really the point is that without these partnerships, we wouldn't be successful. And so we have industry advisory boards for CMI, a program advisory board for mechatronics and machine tool. So we are well embedded with industry. In terms of the education partners, bringing new students in, working with Clemson and Greenville County School District, museums, community groups, that's a big thrust for us is, of course, growing our programs and getting people engaged in manufacturing. And I mentioned this, the vendors, so we'll skip that one in the interest of time. But for our partners, you know, a big benefit is the exposure that they get at CMI. So this is a view of our CNC machining lab. As you can see, it's a very clean, modern manufacturing environment, and we take great pride in that. High polished floor and nice fixtures everywhere. But this is an example of one event that we just hosted back in August, and this is our CNC industry demo day. So Haas and various partners brought in their customers to showcase technology. We've had 4 such demo days just since we opened in August, bringing about 3,000 people through CMI. So that's a real chance for exposure and engagement with our local industry here. And we, of course, have in Greenville County 500 manufacturers employing something like 80,000 people within a 50-mile radius. So it's a big footprint of potential business here. And then working with our manufacturing partners, this is our industry advisory board at CMI. We've got a dozen members now, and really what the ask is of them is keeping us on the leading edge of technology. How do we train not the workforce for today, but for the next 10 years? You know, what kind of technologies do we need to teach on? How do we need to teach? And so this is how we've arrived at many of the major thrusts of our educational program. And of course, on each of the programs, mechatronics and machine tool and the others, we have boards as well that kind of look at what do they need today, right now. But this is really looking forward. How do we position CMI to be innovative in the future? So this is a schematic, just since you're not there with me now, just to give you an idea of what we can offer at CMI in terms of technology and assets and the space that's available. It is a large facility, and I hope everybody on the phone can give me an email or call and come visit us. We'd love to engage with you, but like I said, it's 500 feet from end to end, and it stretches all the way from research and development on the left. So this is the manufacturing research lab, which will be in partnership with some faculty at CMI or from Clemson. The advanced manufacturing collaboration lab, where we'll work with industry on projects. Mechatronics and machine tool technology stretches the rest of that high base. The high bay is on the kind of the top of that schematic there. And what's cool about the building is as you walk in the front door, you're actually on the 2nd level, and you're basically suspended over all of the manufacturing environment. And that's really intentional to get students and young people interested in these careers, because as soon as a field trip of 8th graders walks in, I just hear oohs and ahs and wow. They love to see this technology. And we've had over, gosh, probably 1,500, 2,000 K through 12 students come through our doors just since we've opened. And it is really intended to, you know, get people interested, engaged, and excited about manufacturing. And of course, we hope they'll come back and study with us or at Clemson. As you continue around the building, so we have a metrology lab. So that's our coordinate measuring machine and all the other precision measurement equipment. Temperature controlled. We hope to have that ISO certified very soon so we can do metrology work for industry. And then upstairs we have a 3D printing prototype lab. So in terms of our technical capabilities for the machine tool technology program or working with industry, we have 3 Haas UMC 750. So this is their best machine, 5-axis CNC machining, Renishaw probing within the machine. And we're teaching that in our programs, you know, of course, but also we're using that with industry. We have ST20Y lathes, so not a mid-sized lathe, but it has live tooling, so we can do setup operations and, you know, obviously do a lathe and a milling operation without multiple setups. And so in terms of working on new manufacturing processes, you can come work with us and say, well, how would this work in my environment to cut down on product, you know, turnover time. And then we have VF3 and VF5 mills. So the VF5 is a much larger window work area. And then at the end of the hall, you can't see it, it's actually behind you from where this photo is taken, is a vision-wide bridge mill. So this is a cutting area the size of bigger than I can reach with my arms, a very large machine. And then an honor seiki vertical turning lathe, VTL. And so this is, again, a very large machine for large construction equipment, marine, aviation equipment. So it's we run the gamut from very small CNC machines up to some of the biggest multi-million-dollar machines that you could buy. So I think for the audience here, this is probably maybe the slide of most interest. Working with industry, we can allow companies to have time on our machines. Of course, there'd be a charge for material and labor if that's incurred, but we have a wide variety of rapid prototyping all the way up to additive manufacturing. So, starting with the more simple, the FDM machines, the Airwolf Axioms, we have 4 of those. So that's ABS plastic or whatever spool you want to put in, all the way up to we have a ProJet 460, which is a 3D Systems color machine, and then 2 ProJet 5000. So these are higher end, sort of industrial grade, plastic printers, UV cured multi-jet machines. So that's what the wax supports, where we can do some more complex geometries and really durable plastics. And then downstairs, and so we've kind of set this apart from rapid prototyping because we want it to be seen as a real manufacturing piece of equipment, is our Renishaw AM400. And so we're the only institute in the United States that has an AM400, and one of the few in the United States that has any Renishaw additive manufacturing technology. I believe Harvard, Michigan, maybe a school in Alabama, but within at least a 500-mile radius, we're the only installation of this kind of additive manufacturing machine. So this is a metal 3D printer using basically powder bed technology with laser melting. So we have a print volume of about 10 inches square, or 10 inches cubed, rather. And so we can do stainless steel, titanium, nickel-based alloys, a lot of different kinds of work. We're integrating this into the curriculum clearly, but again, we can work with industry on prototypes. And so I'd ask you to come reach out to me if you're interested in that kind of work, and we can do some research and development, or if you just want to try this process and see how a new product might work in an additive environment. And another thrust here is combining the additive and the subtractive. So how do you take a part off of this metal printer and machine the mating surfaces to get the exact tolerances and surface finish that you need, and how do you fixture that in a 5-axis CNC machining center? So that's something we're teaching in our program, but also, for industry we have both of those technologies, and then the measurement steps along the way with our metrology lab and the Renishaw equator and other gauges. Taking it from additive to subtractive is a big industry thrust right now. So here's our metrology lab. We have a Renishaw probing on all of our metrology equipment, but this is a Mitutoyo 9106 CMM. So it's a pretty good size table. We can measure fairly large parts. Laser scanning, surface measurement, surface roughness. And then outside the room, we have optical comparator, a vision system, profile measurement, roundness, concentricity. So basically everything that you would expect in a well-equipped metrology lab, where it's vibration isolated, temperature controlled. We hope to be ISO certified soon. So if you have measurement needs or other things, we'd love to help you on that as well. So mechatronics, of course, I explained what that is, and this is a view of that lab. We teach a variety of technologies, really try to meet the needs of industry. So the 2 major players in the PLC, the programmable logic controller market, is Allen Bradley and Siemens. So we teach both of those. We have Bosch Rexroth hydraulics, real industrial grade hydraulic equipment. CMC, factory simulation system. This is for troubleshooting, teaching troubleshooting, but the kids love to see this thing run. It's 10 modules. It basically goes around and a transfer station that does quality checks. And then robotics, ABB, KUKA, FANUC. We teach all of that. We're looking at collaborative robotics, robotic welding, all the new technologies that we're seeing in modern manufacturing environments. And so when we talk about modern manufacturing, Industry 4.0 certainly comes up, the Brilliant Factory. Every piece of equipment in our facility that costs over $10,000 is and can be connected to the internet. So we're working with our partners from GE and Hitachi and other companies locally. How can we bring that data up into the web, into a statistical process control or a modern manufacturing, supply chain management type solution, so the students can get engaged in that world as well at a higher level in the process. So I spoke about this. This is where we fit into the ICAR technology neighborhoods. It's kind of exciting to imagine what's possible here with new manufacturing companies coming in, research and development in the transportation space. One other neat fact for those in Greenville, so the Swamp Rabbit Trail, which is a bike pedestrian trail, is going to run basically where that arrow is to downtown Greenville. So you'll be able to bicycle over to CMI in the near future. And then I mentioned the partnership with Clemson, and I just have a few minutes left, so I'll try to go through this quickly. But in part of our facility, they will actually do a full-scale automotive manufacturing assembly process. And so the idea is taking intelligent robots from the robotics cell, looking at collaborative robotics, human factors, natural language programming. And then we have a composites lab with ventilation and everything you need for that to make composite structures for the automotive industry. You pull those two together into an assembly cell, basically, mobile robotics, coming in and building a car, piece by piece. And so that's the vision for the research and development side of CMI. So we have 4 or 5 Clemson faculty that will have lab space here. Again, it's exciting for us. Our students will be involved in this at Greenville Tech, but also just showing the young people what's possible from a research and development through to the manufacturing. That's really cool technology. I'm running out of time, but one thing I do want to mention is this joint capstone program. So this will be a first in the nation kind of educational model where we take the associate's degree students from our manufacturing honors college and students from a bachelor's of engineering program, industrial, mechanical, computer. Those will be in an advanced manufacturing certificate path at Clemson, and they'll come to CMI and work with our students in industry on projects. So for those of you on the call that are interested in working with us on a manufacturing process development or process improvement, implementing new technologies, this is really, you'll have the hands-on knowledge of the Greenville Tech manufacturing student and the theoretical knowledge of the Clemson student, pulling that together with faculty from both. So we hope we can do some really cool stuff with that kind of partnership going forward. So we'll start with that next summer. So you have some time to reach out to me if you want to bring a project to us. We'd love to work with you. And since I think I'm out of time here, but the very last thing is I wanted to show this picture. This is just one school group, high school students that we hosted a couple weeks back. And again, the main thrust is filling this building with the manufacturing talent that we need for tomorrow. And these students, we have about 50, 60 at a time come through and tour CMI and see the technology and get excited about it. And so if you're involved in Boy Scouts or with schools, contact me. We'll send them our way and get them excited about manufacturing careers. So that's the time I have for this morning. Thank you for the attention. I hope it was informative.
David, thank you very much for a great presentation.
My pleasure.
So we had one question that I'd like to have you field for the audience, and then if there's additional questions, please feel free to type those in the chat to the right-hand side. So the audience was asking about outside inventors. Can they gain access to the facility and kind of leverage some of the cool technology that you shared with us today?
Yes, absolutely. There's my email address or my phone number. And that's really a main thrust for us. We have that incubator space, but we also, even if you're not in the incubator, we can work with you to manufacture products. So we're working with a medical device company now that wants to manufacture some innovative products. Even school groups, for maybe a charitable cause or something. 3D printers are great for that. So that's some of the stuff we're looking at.
Awesome, great, thank you. And also I know that we had hosted our SolidWorks launch event there, so you may want to kind of plug that real quick and kind of talk about ways that companies can host different events there. And
Right. Depending on kind of where you're coming from, what industry, basically if our students can be engaged in that, there probably wouldn't be a fee. And we have a great multi-purpose room and other very technology-heavy classrooms where we can do streaming type events and other things. If somebody wants to sell dresses or something, then we'd probably have to charge you for that. But yeah, it's really meant to be a place for manufacturing to come. We want to be the nexus of the manufacturing community in the upstate.
Yeah, it really is an impressive facility.
Yeah,
and thanks again for coming to share with us.